Hello, everybody. Today, as following on the Transhuman Code series, we're going to be looking into the dangers of what we call a God-like artificial intelligence. So we know artificial intelligence are based to be able to do very basic things like what you do in ChatGPT, asking to improve your communication or answering your email, or just writing a poem or developing a script for movies. Although this technology is incrementally getting more and more powerful, we are really far away from what we call now in our days a God-like AI. So what is a God-like AI? It is basically an AI that replaces God. It is an AI that is so powerful where we basically lose control of everything we do. So an AI that will be ultra advanced in our ability and predict its actions. So it's an AI that learns by itself, collects data sets from everything, the internet and everything else. And current models are already challenging to interpret it, but a godlike decision-making process might entirely be incrucible. Means that if such an entity were to operate outside the bounds set it for it, the consequences could be catastrophic. There has been several intent to create moratories on AI, to reduce the speed of development, to control the technology until we base and develop ethical concerns. What a super intelligent AI could have its own set of values and motivation, which might not necessarily align with our human ethics or interests. If decision-making could be devoid of emotion, empathy, or moral consideration that humans hold dear, and we will basically enter into unknown territories. Economic disruption as well as a super AI could render many jobs and industry obsolete almost overnight. It is happening already. I mean, you see what is happening in Hollywood with artists and script makers. They are complaining and they are taking actions in order to protect your jobs as disruption is coming to that industry as well. The rapid transition from lead to massive unemployment, social unrest, as we see in our major cities, and economic upheaval. It has also a component of what we call security threats, such as AI could be weaponized or used for nefarious purposes. It is the case already with the use of AI in military application in the wrong hands. It could be employed to manipulate political processes, destabilize regions, and even instigate wars. Existential risks upstream of a godlike AI might see humanity as a threat or a liability because we breathe there. We are transferring CO2 to the atmosphere. We get old, we die. So humans are more liability than anything else for a super powerful godlike AI. And we're taking resources from Earth, so we are to be replaced. So there is a need of putting some kind of processes to limit the dangers that they are associated with AI. One of them is limiting the hardware acquisitions. We have learned in the last weeks and months that some countries are buying massive amount of hardware that allow them to build AI systems. Central to this approach is firms for amazing the hardware required to craft such a potent AI model. By setting a legal ceiling on the computing power of clusters, governments can directly inhibit the creation of super intelligent systems. Some companies are booming AI hardware manufacture because the demand is so big that it's actually difficult to cope. And some governments, and they're getting concerned that only the super rich, super powerful countries will have access to this technology. They are taking actions so they can anticipate and they can control that equipment by building massive data centers and acquiring an unlimited number of processing capability hardware. So monitoring and regulation is required, given the vast scale of computing infrastructure required, monitoring becomes feasible. Governments could, for instance, track hardware sales, import, and data centers activity to ensure global compliance. International collaboration. This isn't a challenge any single nation can face alone. As a consequence, using international bodies such as the United Nations or International Telecommunication Union of organizations that have been trying to moderate the development of this amazing technology are required to become even more active. A global consensus on the dangers and regulation of superintelligence AI is paramount to ensure the technology is developed safely and ethically. So prevention of those harmful intent, one example is that just as weapons can be used for aggressive objectives, hardware can also be powered in super intelligent AI to be used for malicious purposes. If unchecked, rogue states, terrorist organizations, or malevolent individuals might amass the resources to create AI that can destabilize economy, interfere with critical infrastructure, or even wage wars. These situations are already happening in some areas of the world where mafias and organized crime is using AI for their own nefarious usage. So there's a need for deterrence. Regulating the acquisition of high-end computing hardware will serve as a deterrent for bad actors, similar to nuclear weapons and non-proliferation treaties. We have done that for already several decades, where countries agree not to purchase nuclear weapons. An international consensus on hardware acquisition on AI can deter nations and entities for pursuing the development of dangerous, powerful, full AI. So we need to set something that is leveling the playing field. Without control, a race might ensure where entities rush to acquire the necessary hardware to build super intelligent AIs, as they are concerned about potential competition and other countries advance to them. Much like the arms race of the past on nuclear weapon, this competition could lead to premature deployments without the needed safety protocols. By setting limitation, we prevent an unchecked escalation, and we ensure that advancements and more measures objectives are deliberated, put in place. Monitoring and verification. So like we do in weapons treaty, often comes with monitoring and verification mechanisms to ensure global compliance, like the international organizations. Then they are checking nuclear detonations in the world, so they know exactly who is doing what and who is using it. Similarity, if there's a legal ceiling on computer power, it will mandate rigorous tracking on hardware sales, import, and data centers activities. This transparency will ensure that no entity can covertly develop a super intelligent AI. Containment on potential threats. If an entity breaches the set guidelines and begin to amass prohibited hardware, the international community can collectively intervene, such as they would in a nation where suspected of developing weapons of mass destruction is happening. So we need to build something with shared responsibility. The responsibility to prevent weaponized and misuse is a global burden, cannot be done alone. Similarities by treating advanced computing hardware with the same gravity as weapons. They all can collectively shoulder the responsibility of ensuring AI safe and ethical development. So if we apply those principles, AI will continue to become a tool for humanity versus to become a weapon against humanity.